together. Oh yeah, we wouldn't want to miss anything of this. So if we were to retreat together, we would see each other. So I really would like you to feel as the sangha. So so great to be with you. Wow, I'm looking at your faces a bit first. So you do it too. Look around. So many old friends and new friends. So thank you for coming to our weekly Sochen Love Fest. Good morning. I'm delighted to see how many of you have chosen to come and visit and be with us. I'm always so moved over and over when I see people come and see the beautiful effects these practices have on people when they act on a wish to investigate and find who they really are and their place in the world. And as Lama Surya says, seekers must become finders. And I guarantee that all of you will be finders, even in this meditation get together. And you're because in a way we can really find that which we already are, or find that which we never lost. I would really like you to realize that coming to this place with us is not a small thing. It's really quite something that people come together to be together like this as a sangha. So maybe right away I would like you to step out of autopilot and just noticing the space around and in your heart in a subtle way, not starting any meditation or any stuff like that. Just notice, be present. And so if you were here last week, you would have seen that Lama was sitting on this blue couch, and some people asked about this tanka from South Central LA. It's called Black Buddha, and a friend of mine came by. And it was in a box. It's like 5.5 by 4 feet, and the box was like huge. And when somebody walks into your house with something that's supposedly art, you kind of go, oh. And then when I saw it, I was like, and now I love it. So if you wonder what it is, Black Buddha from South Central. So one of the what I'm always really resonating with and talk about is, and which comes down the wisdom lineage, is better a bunch of shorties than a bunch of longies, right? So I'm a great advocate of shorties, saturating the day with awareness, but also shorties within a formal sit. That's why Lama sometimes calls out loudly, "But," and calls us back to attention. So I won't startle you too much, and I will here and there ask you to take a real present breath, like a fresh splash of wakefulness. Um, and just really realizing that the mere fact that you walked into this space makes you qualify a full 100% to be able to do this from the very first time and do it right. And I just read yesterday the Korean Zen master Da Soon always asked, "How are you keeping your mind right now?" So, how are you keeping your mind right now? And if I asked you to be present, where do you go? If I ask you, who are you? Where do you go? So notice when I ask you to be present, there's no reaching, there's actually more of a relaxing, right? It's more what we don't do. So within that kind of spacious presence, what does it feel like to be you today? Or really, who are you today? How we feel comes and goes, thoughts, feelings, emotions, perceptions. Yet always, I am here. And then we realize attention equals love. I mean, what a beautiful thing to pay attention finally. So, what is this thing called self love? It really only manifests in where we show up for ourselves in the world. And look where you are. Of all the thousands of Sunday morning possibilities, you chose to be with this family of like minded, loving intent, in which the wish arises for all beings to be healed and whole again. So, no waiting to be present. I rather speak straight to your wide open, awake heart and not your figure out mind. So you will notice when you are at retreats or at meditation get-togethers, there are like two perspectives or two retreatants, right? The one that is meditating and the one that is seeking for information. And you see the body language change in the halls. Like, yeah, give me some good stuff, and then sit up and meditate. But really, these practices are for the meditation to become our lives. So therefore too right now, let's not have too much of a segue between me going silent in a bit and maybe me moving my mouth again. Just be the open, spacious potentiality, the big open silence, and just keep your heart open. And then I wanted to maybe talk about a couple of the Lama Surya isms that we hear, or some of the lineage isms that come down, like being aware of being aware. Lama Surya talks about space mingling, whoa, or like a bubble of awareness turned inside out in the ocean of awareness, of which it has never been separate or apart, or all pervasive, boundless, and timeless. I know when I started hearing Lama Surya, then you always feel like, oh, yeah, that's really profound metaphor. But often they're not metaphors, they're actually really precise, pointing out instructions to the nature of mind. That's the lineage that you're in. And so, and just really pay attention. And from there, my favorite little prayer in the prayer book is, Semyi Nelok Tokpa Jinji Laptusol. Please bless us that we may come to recognize the nature of mind, the natural state. Recognize that which is already there. And then, you notice that you get better at noticing, switching from ordinary mind to awakened mind. And please, right now, be the presence of spacious, luminous, loving awareness, knowingly, awakefully. Please be the presence of spacious, luminous, loving awareness, knowingly, not necessarily meditatingly, just be present. It's spacious or empty because it's so limitless. There is enough room for the origin of all things to arise in all its splendor, or alive. Luminous because consciousness, or let's point not at the head, at the heart. Luminous because consciousness or Buddha mind shines the light of knowing on all things and upon itself. And loving because awareness or Buddha mind welcomes absolutely all experience, no matter what. It is so loving because all things conceivable are welcomed unconditionally within it and as it. So then, happiness is no other than consciousness. It is simply the presence of consciousness. Happiness is consciousness knowing itself deliberately. Maybe we can take a breath on that. Would you take a breath with me? I've heard the Lama say about the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, the good, the true, and the beautiful. And beautiful, you do look there. So our main wish for everyone in this Sangha is not for you to become an excellent meditator, which maybe sounds a bit dissenting. The intention is that you might be happy. Yes. That's what inspires this group, that you might be deeply happy. This flow of togetherness is in a certain way about so much more than meditation. The loving awakefulness of the Buddha mind arising in the collective. As they say, the next coming of the Buddha is the Sangha. So here you are, beautiful Buddha. A certain innocence in a surface of something like deep happiness. But what is this deep happiness? Even Freud famously said, in a very humble kind of contemplation towards the end of his life, psychoanalysis may rescue us from hysterical misery, but it does not address common unhappiness. So, is common unhappiness enough for us? For our hearts, there is a deeper aspiration for more freedom, more of a sense of inner safety, more goodness, more blossoming of love. And there it is, the inner safety. We end up taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Taking refuge in the Buddha is taking refuge in our own hearts and minds. And then this practice helps us to deeply discern and not mistake half-hearted happiness for deep enduring happiness, and not to mistake pleasure for satisfaction. And we know that in our historic evolution, aggression preceded love. There are many species of creatures in the world that still can only express aggression and or fear, but not love. Love is a much later evolutionary development in our brain structure and psychology, and in the collective karmic psyche. And there is a certain fragility, a certain kind of fragility to it, which means that we commit to deeply care for it. We must very deliberately, truly nurture love. It is in that spirit that we gather together as a Sangha or family of loving intent. So we come together to sit in presence because the busyness of our lives obscures the full expression of our hearts. And here we actually get to pause deeply enough so that we may notice that love, peace, and happiness or joy are ever present within our beingness, at any decibel level and throughout all of experience. Not some giddy, jolly, temporary happiness, but maybe more the experience of an absence of lack, of being completely okay with the way things are. So this beautiful intention among us right now, the actual collective embodiment of the wish for all beings to be happy. And for us to somewhat submerge and marinate in this resolve together is extraordinarily healing. My accent is from Holland, if you don't know me. Sometimes we don't even realize how much we've been longing to rest our hearts surrounded by this interconnected acceptance of all that we are, even our stinky bits. When we as individuals are practicing, the totality and completeness of all and everything and all beings is practicing. So let's take a present breath on that if you wish to join me. And just from the mouth open, notice when you open your mouth and let the breath slowly escape. The wisdom syllable ah is already naturally present. And maybe we'll do another one, and this time have your breath go out as if it reaches for the furthest reaches of the universe, and exhaling forever and ever. So let's take another present breath. Yet, just the mere search for happiness is basically an admission of unhappiness. All difficult mind states are only found in one place. Where would that be? The not now. The future manifesting as hope and fear, or the past arising as regret and melancholy. This is the practice of staying within the very immediacy of our experience and that which knows our experience, and not get lost in a dream theater called the not now. So let's bring ourselves back to the very now. It has always been only the luminous now. When was the last time you experienced the past or the future anyway? And when did this now start and this now end? So the beauty is that ultimately, over time of resting and staying connecting to our own beingness, fosters the flourishing of positive mind states and the diminishing of negative mind states. How amazing is that? Just sitting in this open, awake awareness. This is maybe a bit of the habituation of that, where we come together to deliberately sit in that. But letting that gong of presence over and over saturate our lives. Taking refuge indeed in the Buddha, the Buddha-ness, the divine, the enlightened one on your seat. And as Lama Surya says, don't overlook her. But then who or what is taking refuge in the Buddha? From this perspective, is the refuge being taken or is refuge being recognized? So recognizing refuge once again as the good, the true, and the beautiful. So on that note, maybe we'll take refuge with a couple prayers. So Ben, if you could we please see the 4 bodhisattva vows below the Pali refuge? From now on, until reaching perfect Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception, I shall practice the 6 perfections wholeheartedly day and night. Sentient beings are numberless, we vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible, we vow to transcend them. Dharma teachings are boundless, we vow to realize them. The Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable, we vow to embody it. And can then see the 4 dharmas of Longchenpa or Kampopa. Bless and empower us that our minds and hearts turn towards the Dharma. Bless and empower us that our Dharma practice becomes the path. Bless and empower us that the path truly dispels confusion. And bless and empower us that confusion itself dawns as primordial awareness. Bless and empower us that sadness itself dawns as primordial awareness. Bless and empower us that anger and all difficult mind states dawn as primordial wisdom, compassion, and love. And then I would like to do Om Ahung on page 1. Realizing that Om for natural body, Ah for, for natural breath and energy, and Hung for natural heart and mind are primordial wisdom syllables, wisdom sounds. We could say that there are sounds that have perfect knowledge held in them, vibrational shapes of perfect knowledge, perfect wisdom. So even if you don't really resonate so much with mantras or chanting, keep in mind that we wish to start communicate straight from the heart, from open awake awareness, and not from the cyclical what about me mind, egoic mind. So it's a practice to just speaking from love and realizing that vibrating these sounds liberate all beings, just right there. Om Ahung Benzar Guru Pemai Suri Hung. 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 Resonating for all beings. Om Ahung Benzar Guru Pemai Suri Hung. Om Ahung Benzar Guru Be my city hung. Just putting on your most lovely voice. O Mahung Benzargur. Be my city hung. O Mahung Benzargur. Be my city hung. As if you were singing to a baby, a kitten, or a puppy. O Mahung Benzargur Be my city hung. 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 The sounding, the meditation, the sounding, open, awake awareness resonating. Om Hum Benzargur Be my city hum. Om Hum Benzargur Be my city hum. Softly, gently. Om Hum Benzargur Be my city hum. Om Hum Benzargur Be my city hum. Just one more time with just your heart. You can close the book, Ben. Thank you. Noticing the dissipating of the sound, exposing the silence. The silence is what we are. Be the loving presence of silent, spacious awareness right now, please. So, spacious mind, the silence is how we hear spaciousness. So, spacious mind, silent, listening for the furthest sound in the universe and being all space in between. So, resting the mind, usually awareness co-regulates into a searchlight of attention and tends to objects or apparent objects. In Sochen, we rest attention and let attention come to rest back into its origin in awareness. 360-degree periphery, open, awake, luminous. So just open and awake. And from that perspective, the answers of who we essentially are is not something you can figure out. Just rest all figuring. It's only something you can be. And then we become the answer. So not just sitting here paying attention to the present moment, but sitting as the present moment. And we are not concerned with a bit of distraction. And when we start thinking a bit, it's just a sign of your beautiful creativity. And we return to presence. It's in returning where the healing happens. So actually, thoughts and feelings are our friends. Just being the open, awake, all-pervading ocean, and the thoughts, feelings, and emotions and perceptions, the waves and currents, and allow the ocean to delight in the waves. Where do the waves end and the ocean start anyway? So the first realization of the yogi is I am awareness. And if you have a little bit of a difficult time locating that awareness, then you go, how do I know my experience? How do I realize I exist? It's self-evident prior to thought. It's this aha, this recognition of beingness, awareness, knowing and being interconnected, the knowing of being, the, and then the aha, sitting in the continuity of aha. They speak in the lineage also about the body as the joy body and the joy of being, just being a human joy of being. So if you notice that little serious little meditator coming in, just realize that that's a bit of reaching, just let go and come home to the being, that you wish to be that's already present on your seat right now. Everything has been completed. Just rest vividly, joyfully. So indeed, just being aware of being aware. So let's have another fresh splash of wakefulness. If you wish, take a breath. Completely new. And now maybe feeling that space mingling, realizing that the inner sky of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions, or the outer sky of perceptions, are all arising in the sphere of being. So then, where do I end and others start? Just knowing everything is arising in that wide open, spacious beingness. And every time you feel your mind move a little, relax the attention, fall back, have the mind descend back into its source, the essence of pure awareness, the remembrance of itself. The open perspective of what it would feel like if there was absolutely nothing wrong right now with us or anyone or anything. And if this moment is the only moment, then this would be the moment which is the perfect circumstance in our lives for our awakening. How amazing is that? Being enlightened right now. Being enlightened while becoming enlightened. Welcome home. And now maybe see if you want to shift with me into a more boundless and all-pervasive um, shift into awareness perception. Take a breath, refresh, let go, and as if from the heart, have awareness as like knowing space, self-evident recognition of beingness just arise and saturate the space around. Just fill the room around. Notice that awareness is not confined by the boundaries of the anatomy, but just fill the space around with the knowing of being, or just pure awareness. Notice that it has a self-evident intelligence and intentionality. Just sit there in open spaciousness, less of a meditator there, just open and awake. And then don't allow any limiting beliefs to put any restrictions on the boundlessness, on the boundless wide openness of beingness. Just burst out into the universe. Beingness bursting into existence, beyond existence and non-existence. Universe is bang in and out of existence, yet always here we are. So if there's only one space in the universe, and we are that space, and somewhere there's the uniqueness of luminosity arising on your seat, we still sharing that same boundless space with all beings. So automatically, completely interconnected. Where can you be where we are not? And just by putting the mere wish for the all beings to be healed and whole again on our hearts, knowing that our hearts are boundless, right there, concentric circles of compassion, embracing all beings. And then maybe a bit more deliberate while we embracing all beings from our boundless hearts. You can sing Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 World peace sounding from your seat. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. The source of healing for all beings sounding. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Interconnected singing. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Softly, gently, make them pay attention. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let's return to presence, even though presence was sounding. And just noticing still the openness and the freedom of being, and maybe taking the boundless wholeness as the object of awareness. Just open up, and we are that boundless wholeness. And if you feel that, oh, what really? Just feel that kind of loviness in your heart, that wish to be happy, which from these practices becomes the wish for all beings to be happy. Use that as your beacon for the boundless wholeness for all beings. So every time you notice beauty or love, and you feel that sweet little tear on your heart, it's the sympathetic resonance of your own beautiful, loving heart. And don't let any fear or any stories of the egoic mind get in the way of the playfulness of your beautiful heart. So, as a little practice to stay present in our lives, let's do a little bit of deliberate mind wandering. So, while you're aware and not distracted, bring to mind a beautiful tree or any vista if you will create or from memory, and bring it in and stay really present. Notice that at first, when you start getting really detailed, that maybe there's a bit of dimming of mm, awakened awareness. It's a nice practice to do, maybe at the end of a deliberate practice of presence. And then with a collective breath, let's let go of the visualization. Take a breath. Just dissolve the visualization and be open and spacious. Oh, this practice creates so much space in our hearts and minds. It's just a wide open yes for compassion to arise. So we let go of our egoic habitual patterns. We step out of self-delusion and maybe learn to honor the depths of suffering in the world. And then we have an empathy arising naturally, not just a hopeless, deep, distressed empathy, becoming a deer in the headlights of life, but actually a stimulus for ethical lives and for goodness itself. So then the true measure of realization is always conduct. So how do you judge the authenticity of a spiritual experience, or even the measure of realization or awakening? In the Bible, there is a passage that says, by the fruits you shall know them." So, are you becoming kinder to others and self? That's the measure of your realization. People that are unfolding and unveiling their awakening get deeply concerned about other people or beings, and the repercussions of these practices are social. So then we stay connected to a dimension of our heart that longs to do no harm to others. And others includes you on that seat. Don't let your thoughts do any harm. Get in the way of your beautiful heart, as I said. We start to relax the uptight vigilance and indeed nourish love. On behalf of all beings, thank you so much for your beautiful practice, not just today, but from here on, ever after. Okay, I have one little paragraph of Thomas Merton that I would like to say. In Louisville, at the corner of 4th and Walnut, in the center of the shopping district, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all those people, that they were mine and I theirs, that we would not be alien to one another, even though we were total strangers. It was like waking from a dream of separateness, of spurious self-isolation in a special world. The world of renunciation and supposed holiness. This sense of liberation from an illusory difference was such a relief and such a joy to me that I almost laughed out loud. I have the immense joy of being human, a member of a race in which God Himself became incarnate, as if the sorrows and stupidities of the human condition could overwhelm me. Now I realize what we all are, and if only everybody could realize this, but it cannot be explained. There is no way of telling people that they are all walking around shining like the sun. So once we become present, all spiritual traditions come to this place. And there's the joy of being. And that's what they say in the lineage when the lamas and the masters become enlightened, they burst out laughing, like, oh, the recognition, and free from concern. So be free from concern. Love you very much. I think we have to do a dedication prayer. Can we do like Gewa D or something? Bring something up, Ben, and we'll do it. Oh, let's do the New Millennium Prayer. Gongs too. We have everything. May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected, and who want and need the same as we do, may they be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world, an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed and cruelty, pandemics, famine, droughts, earthquake, all kinds of natural disasters. May all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. May we better prepare ourselves for the natural calamities that beset us all, and may we all together complete the spiritual journey. One beloved community, one circle, one family, all the way home. Wow, thank you, Lama Surya Das. You put some words together, that man. Thank you for your beautiful practice. And if you ever want, we have it every morning. Sit here on East Coast time, West Coast time at 8, East Coast time 11. If you want to join us, this you can find me somehow. And do we have time? Yeah, I think we have 2 minutes if somebody would like to say something or ask something, and if not, we'll be awake and aware.
I would like to say thank you, Timo. Thank you for your teaching today. It was really wonderful. On behalf of everybody who was here, thank you. And thank you all for joining. The question, how can we find your morning meditations? There's a question. So I guess
I'm typing my email address.
You can email Timo for that.
And then I'll send you a link.
And again, friends, we have our annual summer retreat, July 23rd to 25th. Please consider joining. If you've never done a retreat, you can do it in the comfort of your own home. And it's a really wonderful experience. If you appreciate these teachings, please consider donating to the Dzogchen Center so we can reach more people, or become a member. And the links are there in the chat. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful Sunday.
And Timo will be teaching on or leading us in meditation on summer retreats. So if you enjoyed today, join us in July, please.
I enjoyed you. Be with you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.